My name is Becca Lynn, Sweeha Success Coach, coming to you to discuss and explore your interest, passion, or calling in the coaching world. We have two exciting programs to feature today. Not only that, I would like to feature my co-host today as well, which is James Patrick, Master Life Coach. Hi, James. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for saying yes to joining me because we want to talk about obviously why everyone's here. So put your why in the Q&A, what brings you to explore life coaching and or health and wellness coaching. But James, I just want to ask you to kick it off. What was your why in becoming a master life coach? Did it happen by chance? Were you passionately pursuing this? How are you here, sir?
Uh, how do you make long story short? So,
Uh-huh.
like many things, and why people end up at Sweetheart is because we find out a lot of times the things that we've been doing over the years, over the course of a lifetime, it's something I've always done without really knowing at the time what it was. And so I was always that person that people would come to with their problems to, just kind of vent, to say, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I do it? And, I was always the person that, I will say this, at the time when I was younger, I was always the person that would fix, would save, would rescue. And I found a lot of my own self-worth or lack of by doing that. And while it was a gift, what I found out years later, once I came to Sweeha and found out what coaching really was, it was being able to own those gifts and set boundaries in place so that I could still support people without fixing or saving or rescuing. And so a lot of the tools that I received in life coaching and a lot of the awareness was that it's not something I'm ever going to get away from. It's a part of who I am. And as a professional, it's one of the best things that I have in my toolbox because it makes both my personal and professional life that much better because of the things that I've learned, if that makes sense.
I love that so much. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that honest window to your soul there. I just want to know if anyone agrees with that. Has anybody experienced this yourselves? Do you have that in your history that you're proclaiming to bring forward and make it valuable in your life today? Yep. Amy's raising her hand. Yes. So Tracy's raising her hand, David's raising his hand, Courtney's raising her hand. Pretty much almost everyone's raising their hand. Thank you all for sharing that. So remember, go ahead and put your why, what brings you here if you want to elaborate. But let's kind of ground into our offerings today. And like I said, raise your hand as we walk through and kind of talk through the options today so that you can get this dedicated time and live answers from myself or James here. So James has been part of the Sweeha community and myself for over a decade. So James is not only a coach himself, he also helps to create the curriculum, teach the curriculum, all the things there. So thank you, James, for being a Sweeha champion in that arena. Um, First question is, so we have the life coaching program and the health and wellness coaching program. What made Sweeha decide to have two programs like this? So one is the 100-hour program, right? And then one is the 200-hour program. So we're going to go over what is life coaching. We're going to define that. What is health and wellness coaching? So differentiating the two, figuring out what program's right for you, and then talking action steps, how to enroll. So James has led the 100-hour certificate on campus for how long, James?
It's been about 5 years for the life coaching specifically, and the health and wellness we launched in 2021. So
Mhm.
since then, it's been that. And then, like I said, I've been a coach for about 15 years because my original training was back in 2008. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm right behind you on that. I think I became a coach in 2011. And I have loved every minute of supporting souls in their journeys. So, um, the foundation of most of our programs here at SWIHA is the life coaching certificate of excellence because it helps us as humans to seek to understand, not project any of our own stuff onto our clients, but to ask the powerful questions. So let's name the misconception, right? What's a coach? Someone who gets you excited and tells you what to do, right? We don't really do that, right? Sometimes on the back end and the accountability components will remind you of what you told yourself that you want to do, but it's really about asking the powerful questions so that you, the client, can name it to tame it yourself, right? James, what is your definition of a life coach when someone's like, oh, well, I don't need someone to tell me what to do or how to be? What is your definition of that?
Coaching, regardless of whether it's life or health and wellness or any other type of coach, it is someone who needs someone on their team to motivate, to inspire, sometimes to educate, so that when we ask these powerful questions, it's not about us having the answers and telling you what to do, as you said. It's
Mhm.
about us being able to be that partner to brainstorm ways forward based off of your own ideas and using your own words and your own thoughts to kind of, for lack of a better term, it's as if you, as the client, metaphorically, take the puzzle that you want to build and you
Mhm.
dump out all the pieces on the table. And the coach is the one that is responsible for helping you bring the pieces together, but you are the one that is always putting it together and creating your vision. We're just supporting and guiding you along the way based off of the answers that you provide, the vision that you have, the plan that we partner in creating. So there, and like you said, there's a lot of accountability involved. So that's where the biggest job of a coach comes into play, is that accountability piece and maintaining your client's motivation, drive, and engagement for change.
Yes, while having healthy boundaries and finding your niche market of who you work with, how you work with them, which is very important. So as y'all can see here, the 100-hour certificate of excellence, like I said, building block for most of our programs, a lot of our programs, where you learn the skills, tools, training to help people overcome their obstacles, define their goals, leverage their soul's calling, right? Define their purpose, their passion, enhance their quality of life. And like James just said, it's that active listening where we ask the powerful questions, we hear them, and then we oftentimes find ourselves as a soundboard, remember, I'm reminding them of what they came to you for in the first place and putting together that plan of action that makes sense. Because a lot of times we have these grandiose ideas and then we don't know how to follow through and even like compartmentalize the steps on take it small, right? So getting clarity and actionable is everything. And that's James, that's your forte, right? You help people in that realm. Right?
Yeah. So, with the programs, especially with the life coaching, a lot
Mhm.
of times we provide, it's the structure, it's the process. There are tools that are involved to support, you know, at the end of the day, what I often ask people, it's like, okay, you're a coach, but a coach for what? That at the end of the
Mhm.
day, life coaching, especially these days, is such a broad term. And yet we're giving you the tools and the foundation to basically say, okay, can you be a coach? 100%. And now the joy is you get to decide, what are you the coach for? Because if you were to Google what types of coaches are out there, you're going to get a list of over 100 different types of coaches. And the reason they exist is because the way I look at it is you are obsessed with or really passionate about certain things in life. So when I shared with you before we started today, people come to me as a coach because my obsession is time investment and organization, right? I don't say time management because time's going to happen with or without you. It's how do we invest our time? And when people come to me with a vision board or their goals or their personal or professional endeavors, I love it. Great. Doesn't mean a damn bit of difference to me if you don't have systems or structures in place that are going to create the time for your success. And so bringing all those pieces together and organizing a plan of action down to timetables and the accountability piece and everything in between is what I love to do. And then you're going to have other people that are obsessed with finances or relationships or executive coaching, a multitude of other types. And yet our program gives you the foundation to be able to say, okay, now that I got my tools, I'm going to attach it to X, Y, and Z. Because, my last little piece here is that the coaching dialogue and the conversation and the things that we learn really make you better at anything. And
everything.
With our relationships, our family, our friendships, it makes us more conscious communicators and more mindful of how we show up in our personal lives. And in our professional lives, the best professionals, not even myself, but those that I've worked with, have really great coaching skill sets because it allows them to take their practice even deeper because they're getting to know their client more than just their previous trainings or tools or modalities, So it's, even for example, I had a massage therapist last week. You can go in and get a great massage. Okay, fantastic. But they took a coaching program with us. And what made their massage practice better was after the massage, they were asking questions about what's going on in my life because they noticed certain things, certain tension in certain areas. Did you know you could do these types of stretches and things to help out those areas so that the next time I come back to them, they want to go deeper, but here's why. So they were getting to know me, not just on body, but getting to know me. And that was all the coaching conversation. What were my goals? What did I want to do? Where did I want to be physically with my body with the work that they're doing? And it's like, okay, so it works in every aspect.
Every industry, 100%. Yes. Beautiful. It's unlocking what isn't being said that's showing up in the body, in the workplace, in your home, and it's everything. So, again, for everyone who's on with us today, raise your hand as you have questions. I'm going to segue us into the 200-hour certificate for the health and wellness coaching. So, James, tell us a bit about why this was created, because it's a newer program and it's 200 hours. Do you want to talk to this for us here?
Sure. So we have been doing life coaching for over 20 plus years. And like with everything else, you got to stay relevant in the industry and kind of keep up with the latest and greatest. So we ended up partnering up with NBHWC, which is the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching, because this particular program has come at the request of licensed professionals. So doctors, therapists, counselors. We already know that in the health system, whether it's physical health, mental health, emotional health, there's not enough supports out there. So you have the licensed professionals that are doing the best that they can with what they have, and they are listening, they are diagnosing, they're prescribing, they are supporting their clients, and they don't have the time to do as much as they would like to. So they had requested health and wellness coaching become a board certification program so that we as coaches become kind of the third party, the third partner in that relationship. So if a doctor says, you know what, hey, you've got high blood pressure and I'm going to put you on this medication for right now, but you need to get your act together because if you don't get this blood pressure under control, right, we're going to have more serious issues down the line. So a coach would then basically, that doctor would refer their client, their patient to a coach. And the coach would basically be the one creating a plan of action to hold them accountable to, okay, did you pick up your blood pressure medication? Do you have a cuff? Are you taking your measurements? Are you journaling? What are you doing like physically, mentally, emotionally? How are you taking care of yourself? And helping them through that journey. So it is more health focused because it's really about lifestyle and behavior changes that basically somebody needs to make a change in their life within the health realm, so to speak, because if they don't, right, there's going to be bigger issues down the line. So the coach is either preventative or we're getting ahead of the game well enough in advance to where it doesn't ever become an issue. It's just more of a, just let's figure out ways to change our behaviors, right? So where life coaching is more about, okay, yes, goals, life purpose, vision. Health and wellness coaching is more about goals as it relates to your behaviors and lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yes, 100%. Thank you. Perfectly clear. And it's that piece that feels like it's missing, right? In the mainstream health industry, it's that accountability piece, that plan of action. Think about, let's all get real with ourselves for 1 minute. I'll invite you to that place. What is maybe an addiction that you have that you've been working through? Maybe it's food, maybe it's behavior, maybe it's past trauma that's showing up in your current relationships, thoughts, right? Think about what you're struggling with internally right now, having grace with yourself, using your breath to calm if you need, and knowing that, is it harder to do it alone? Have you tried to stop? Are you still doing it? And then what do you need to help you change that? In these small little increments, what can you replace with maybe something that you used to do, right? Even as a coach myself, I will find that, can I always do it alone? No. Even as a coach, do I still need that accountability partner to remind me when I revert to those past programs? 100%. Even Casey Miller will still say every coach needs a coach. 100%. We're still human, right? We're not perfect. We're here to make progress one day at a time. So that's really what it's all about. And I want to take this one step further, James, in that a lot of times we will define our niche markets based on maybe what we've experienced, what we feel like we have a lot of, I don't want to say we've mastered it, but we're working on it, right? So if you have trauma in your past and it shows up in some coping mechanisms, triggers, right? It's whatever you've gone through might become your passion piece. And you'll invite, and you'll often see your clients will mirror a lot of your own work, right? And so that can help you to find your niche market. Maybe you're passionate about working with diabetics. Maybe you're passionate about working with teens. Maybe your client is an exact mirror of you, middle-aged women or single parents. It's whatever you're really passionate about is what you're going to be successful in, because you have that fire to serve, right? And keep developing in your own realm. So James, do you have a niche market? And how has that developed over time for you within the health and wellness coaching industry?
Yeah, that's the beautiful part, is that it all started with life coaching, and the time management organization piece was really where my area of expertise began. And when I got board certified as a health and wellness coach, that piece really just got tacked onto this component, only because I do have my personal training certification outside of this as well. So a lot of people right now that I'm working with, on the weekends, and the clients that I have privately are, still needing to make time for their goals, but it's their physical health, it's their mental health, it's their emotional health. And, wanting to create space where, especially in the SWIHA vein of things, there is that spiritual, energetic component of things. So a lot of times I'm coaching beyond the physical. It's okay that you want to look good. Why? Mental and emotional health, when you find yourself in alignment with your truth, what is that going to do for you? What space is that going to create in your life? Because if I'm going to train you, right, I want to know that we're anchoring into deeper levels of the individual, not just surface level, not just looks. And so that can throw some people off sometimes, right? Because, thanks to social media, right, people are very easily caught up in the aesthetic of things. And I know that as a coach, when I go onto people's pages and their Instagrams and their Facebooks, if I see people painting the pretty picture and I don't see vulnerability, I don't see humanness, I don't see broken moments, I'm going to call you out on, you know what, right? It's just like, no, let's get to the truth. Let's get to the real you. And, you know, in both realms, life and health and wellness, that's what we're getting to, is the truth. We're getting people to be vulnerable with the fact that we're all human. And, you know, what is the best or the next best version of you? Because like you said, we never really master anything because we're always learning. But you can become, you know, focused on a particular area of expertise and really let your clients be the one that grow you, because they're the ones that push you in new directions and show you what you are capable of. And so it all blends together. And that's the beautiful thing, is that coaching is coaching is coaching. The structure and the process is exactly the same, no matter what avenue you go. You just, thankfully here at Sweetheart, you get to choose your pathway.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. So I think we've clearly defined, you know, the difference between the two. So just want to hear from everyone their questions while you're thinking of what question that you want to ask while we're here. I want to show you just the different classes in the program sheets really quick. So let me zoom in here. Life coaching. We have our intro weekend, full intensive on campus, different design online and on campus. So know the difference between the two wherever you are. You can access this. Beautiful. Heart-centered approach 1 and 2 are big chunks that you take after the profound and powerful intro weekend. Is it always comfortable and exciting? No, because we're going to have you get real with some components of your life that maybe you've been avoiding for a long time. So we ask that you come into this with an open mind, with grace for self and others, and to allow the evolution of self, right? It's a beautiful walk. And like I said, is it easy? No, not always. Right, James? Was it easy for you that intro weekend?
It's definitely exciting.
Okay, good
And
word.
it's uncomfortable at the same time.
100%. And everyone else is in there experiencing their own levels of all of what's been said. So in our own worlds, right, we're the only one experiencing this. Oh my gosh. And everyone else is experiencing it at their own level too. So I just want to show you the online version of the health and wellness coaching. These are the classes broken down so that if you have the class calendar, you can read the descriptions of each of these classes. James, do you think there's anything important to point out within the curriculum of on campus versus online?
Yes.
Thank you.
So they're the same programs, but it's two different approaches. So online, just because of the setup, you've got to choose if you're going to do the 100 hours of life coaching or the 200 hours of health and wellness coaching. So you can see the differences between the two. And like I said, the structure and the process is going to be relatively the same. The focus is just a little different in each of the online programs. On campus, right? On campus, what we've done is we have combined the elements of life coaching and health and wellness coaching through the intro weekend. And as you saw in the program sheet, the heart-centered coaching part 1 and part 2, all of our life coaches and all of our health and wellness coaches go through the program together. And so what I've done on campus is I've combined both of those avenues. So you get a little bit of both at the same time for at least those first 100 hours, because then what remains, similar to online, is you have anatomy of wellness, health conditions, the exam prep class, and those courses. So anatomy of wellness really focuses on risky behaviors. So smoking, overeating, just the things that we do that are, you know, drinking. So it's more about risky behaviors, where health conditions teaches you all about, if you don't get a handle on those behaviors, if you don't change those behaviors, then these are the health issues you're going to have and what you may coach somebody around. And then, of course, the exam prep gets you prepared for taking the board exam. So The benefit, and I will say this because some people say, oh, but it sounds like I want to do on campus, or oh, I need to do online. Well, if you are not local, or even if you are local and you do online, um, local individuals, you're always welcome to come and audit the on-campus classes at no charge. So that is a benefit to you right there. Those that are online that don't have the availability of coming to SWIHA do have success coaching with myself and with Jasper to support building your practice. And I can offer the on-campus resources that are provided on campus and email those documents to those that have taken the online courses. So you can get whatever it is that you need, wherever it is that you are, from myself and whichever program you choose, either online or on campus. They're both complementary to one another. We just have to approach it differently just because obviously when you're on campus, you know, you're doing things in person, the activities a little bit more interactive, the tools that we use, you know, are very different from an online platform. And it's just a matter of, you know, can you get it all either way? Absolutely. So just let us know what you're seeking, what you want, what you need, and we will support you.
I love that. Beautiful. So let's talk about the next steps for everybody, being realistic with time management, what you have going on in your life, where you are, if you can come to campus. We have upcoming start dates online for life coaching May 13th, on campus May 17th. A registration usually closes at least 10 days prior to a start. And we have the opportunity for you to be our guest, to come and try it out if you want to come in person for 4 hours at our upcoming life coaching and health and wellness start date. So that starts May 17th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's an intro evening. You want to register and get your spot at Call Student Services to get your guest pass. Then the health and wellness coaching program starts 200 hours again on campus that May 17th, and then online again September 2nd. Anything you want to put on here, James, for the end as we wrap up? Does anyone have questions? They've said thank you. We've all been very helpful and clear. Does anyone have any particular questions for James or myself while we're here? And James, what would you like to add on about these programs or this path in general?
You know, it's either route is truly beneficial because there's a market, especially these days, for everybody. And, you know, those that do the life coaching typically want to do something on their own, right? They get the life coaching and then they focus in on what area of people's lives do I want to support them with? And they're building their own practice and their own business. And we are able to coach you through that as well. So we'll support you in launching your practice and figuring out what that looks like and how to get yourself out there, pricing, packages, programs, marketing. So we definitely support that. Those doing the health and wellness coaching, I do highly recommend completing the full 200 hours to go and do the exam. It's definitely not easy. It's a 4-hour exam that you go and take. And when you get the board certification, you know, and some people will ask, well, can I be a health and wellness coach without the exam? You can, and it's still going to be where you're going to have to do your own thing. You're going to have to market yourself and put yourself out there as a health and wellness coach. The board certification itself, when you get that passing grade, so to speak, right, and you get that board certification, that is going to allow you to connect with licensed professionals. And that's essentially going to give them the permission to send referrals out to you because you have that board certification. You are recognized by NBHWC. So I'd say that's usually the big difference in that is you can be a health and wellness coach on your own. But if you want those licensed referrals and to work with licensed professionals, you must have the board certification. So
love that clarity. Thank you. Because this is the power of marketing and networking. When those industries and those professionals take us seriously as health and wellness coaches to support whatever diagnosis, health, you know, plan of action that they're implementing for the client or the patient, that helps you to connect the dots. So think about your chiropractor, your doctor, your OB, whatever kind of doctor you have, you can go and say, oh, hey, by the way, I have this certification. I would love to, you know, work with you, partner with you. and see what comes from that. You know, that's very profound, and that's what networking is all about. So yes, Tracy, to answer your question, the board exam is for the health and wellness coaching, particularly the life coaching industry isn't a regulated profession. You don't have to have a test to pass a test to become a life coach. James, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah. So life coaching, again, doesn't require any type of certification. It never has. However, those that do want to be certified, our programs are in alignment with the standards and the requirements for ICF and IAC, which is the International Coaching Federation, and their International Association for Coaches. So they all have their own requirements. There are 3 different levels of coaching that you can kind of go into as far as beginner, advanced, professional within their website. And so they have requirements to where you'd have to submit some recorded sessions. It's like an application process. However, our program is in alignment with their standards. So if somebody wants to become a member of or get certified through those organizations as a life coach, they absolutely can, but you'll just have to jump through their hoops after you've finished our program. So where Health and Wellness Coaching has the board exam that certifies you, ICF and IAC has their own application process that you'll have to go through to receive the certification through them. But our programs are essentially the starting point for both ways, both routes.
Awesome. Yep, perfectly said. Thank you. Anyone else have last questions as we wrap up? Curiosities, program, classes? But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful path, and whatever you're working through, know you're not alone. Know that you have validity in your feelings, and then taking that best course of action to maybe make that change for yourself. Hire a life coach, work with one, maybe if you're considering to be one, to feel what it's like as the client and to consider what it'll be like as the coach. And in our coaching program, you do get that experience. You will be coached and then you will be the coach. So you get to experience it at both ends of the spectrum. Tracy is asking, do you have the dates for the synchronous learning for health and wellness? You mean that 4-hour guest pass? Is that what you're asking, Tracy? I think so. Let me share my screen again. I'll put it up here so everyone has it. So you can come to experience the 4 hours on May 17th from 6 to 10 and just call student services so you can experience that and decide, you know, which path you want to go. Because it also starts the life coaching, right? So you can determine which path you take, where you begin. Think that helps. Yes, you're welcome. All right. Beautiful. I almost kept us under 30 minutes. Almost. We could literally sit here and talk about it all day. I praise myself when I can stop under an hour. So, yeah, beautiful. I thank you, James Patrick, for all you do, all you are. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being a guiding light, not only to our current students, but to all of our graduates. Lifelong support is here for you. James is semi-famous in our community because he's helped so many souls be accountable in their program. You know, what you sign on and what you say you're going to do when you enroll in a program here, he will remind you of that on the end of your program and see where you're at with that. So James, I want to thank you for holding so many souls accountable in such a graceful way, and all that you do. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, everybody, give yourselves a round of a hand. I want to celebrate you for being here, and we'll see you in class, whether it's online or on campus. All right. Have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.